Have you ever heard a voice that shouldn't exist? On July 2nd, 1937, somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean, Amelia Earhart's last radio transmission crackled through the static. But here's the thing about final messages. Sometimes they're not as final as we think. For decades after her disappearance, ham radio operators around the world reported picking up distress calls from a woman who identified herself as Earhart. The signals came from places where no plane could have landed, no human could have survived. Stay with me, you're about to learn why some mysteries don't want to be solved. Picture this, a Lockheed Electra aircraft gleaming in the pre-dawn light at Lae, New Guinea. At the controls, Amelia Earhart, the woman who'd already conquered the Atlantic, about to attempt the most dangerous leg of her round-the-world flight. Beside her, navigator Fred Noonan, his charts spread out like a paper prophecy of their fate. Neither of them knows they're about to fly into something worse than any storm. They're about to fly into legend. Here's where it gets strange. The last official radio contact was routine, almost boring. "We must be on you but cannot see you," Earhart transmitted to the Coast Guard cutter Itasca, waiting near Howland Island. "Gas is running low." But what happened in the hours after those words has haunted aviation history for nearly a century. Because while most people think the story ends there, it was really just beginning. The darkness deepens. In the weeks following her disappearance, something odd started happening. Radio operators across the Pacific began picking up signals, not the random static of atmospheric disturbance, but clear, coherent messages. "Help us," a woman's voice would say. "We are on a reef." Some operators swore they could hear water lapping in the background. Others reported hearing a man moaning in pain. But wait, there's more. The US Navy launched the largest air and sea search in its history, covering 250,000 square miles of ocean. But what were they really looking for? Because while ships crisscrossed the surface scanning for wreckage, something else was happening beneath the waves. Native fishermen in the Phoenix Islands reported seeing lights moving under the water at night, lights that seemed to follow their boats. Now for the truly unsettling part. In 1940, on Gardner Island, now Nikumaroro, a British colonial officer found something that made his blood run cold. A partial skeleton, next to it, a woman's shoe and a Benedictine bottle, the same type Earhart was known to carry, filled with water instead of liqueur. But before the bones could be properly examined, they vanished. Just like Earhart herself, the evidence simply disappeared. The mystery deepens. Let's talk about the Japanese capture theory, not because it's the most likely explanation, but because it's the one that keeps intelligence analysts awake at night. Classified documents from the Office of Naval Intelligence suggest that in the months before her disappearance, Earhart's flight path was suspiciously close to Japanese military installations. Some say she was spying. Others say she found something she wasn't supposed to see. Here comes the darkness. In 1987, exactly 50 years after Earhart's disappearance, a ham radio operator in Idaho picked up a strange transmission. Through the static, a woman's voice, aged but clear, "Help us. July 2nd, 1937. Still here." The transmission lasted 42 seconds before cutting out. When engineers analyzed the recording, they found something impossible. Background noise consistent with 1930s aircraft engines. The terror builds. The most recent expedition to Nikumaroro in 2019 used advanced sonar to scan the ocean floor. What they found defied explanation. There was something down there, something roughly the size and shape of a Lockheed Electra, But when they sent down remotely operated vehicles to investigate, the object was gone. The sonar kept showing it was there, but the cameras saw nothing but empty water. But here's the real horror. In January 2024, Deep Sea Vision announced they'd found what might be Earhart's plane, a sonar image of something aircraft-shaped lying in the depths. But ask yourself this: after nearly 90 years under the Pacific, what kind of plane leaves a sonar signature that perfect? What kind of metal doesn't corrode? What kind of mystery refuses to be solved? Modern scientists and historians try to explain it all away. The radio signals were hoaxes or misidentified transmissions. The skeleton on Gardner Island was just another castaway. The sonar images are natural formations or debris, but they can't explain the dreams, the ones reported by search and rescue pilots in 1937. Dreams of Earhart still flying, forever circling an island that doesn't appear on any map. Some say that on quiet nights, when the Pacific is as smooth as glass, you can still pick up ghost frequencies on old radio sets. A woman's voice, eternally calm despite her situation, repeating the same coordinates over and over. Coordinates that, when plotted on a map, form a perfect circle around a point of empty ocean where the compass needle spins wildly and GPS signals fade to static. The most terrifying part isn't that we never found Amelia Earhart. It's that maybe, just maybe, she's still out there, still flying through an endless twilight, caught in a loop of time where July 2nd, 1937 never ends. Her Lockheed Electra, forever low on fuel, but never quite empty, forever almost finding Howland Island, but never quite reaching it. So here's a question to keep you awake tonight. What if the greatest mystery in aviation history isn't about where Amelia Earhart went, but about what went looking for her? What if, somewhere out there, she's still transmitting, still trying to tell us something we're not ready to hear? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, if you dare. But be careful about listening too closely to old radio frequencies late at night. Because sometimes, when you go looking for lost pilots, something else finds you first. P.S. The last official search for Earhart's plane in 2019 was called off when 3 different underwater drones malfunctioned in the same area. Their last transmissions, static, with what some technicians swear was a woman's voice buried in the white noise, saying only, "Turn back." Some searches should never be completed.